Welcome back to another edition of TEC Tube. Today we're going to give you a quick little tutorial on how to use the Bryant or the Carrier online op cost calculator. They work exactly the same. The only difference, other than logos and colors, are the fact that the Carrier one has Carrier model numbers and the Bryant has Bryant model numbers. So today we're going to use the Bryant one. Let me show you how to get there. So when you log into HVAC Partners, what you'll do is you go to Marketing Tools, and then down over here on the right-hand side, you'll scroll down to where it says Marketing Software. And there'll be a bunch of various little software apps on there. And we're gonna scroll down to where it says Online Op Cost Calculator. And then from there, you can open it up. All right, I already have it open on my screen here. So the way it works is down the left-hand side of the panel, we're gonna tell the software what our loads are and what our utility rates are. So let's say, for example, we got a house that has, 56,000 BTU heating load. And let's say it has 33,000 BTU cooling load. And the postal code 60503 is where I'm sitting at now, I believe. Then I could pick natural gas or liquid propane. So I'm gonna do natural gas because that's pretty common in this area. My gas cost is 71 cents. Now, when you look at your gas costs, what I do, and most of you have seen me in other videos, I track all my gas bills and then I average them out. So it has all the taxes and fees and everything included as opposed to just the raw gas. I'm usually only paying 30 or 40 cents a therm. When I factor all the fees and taxes in, last year I was at 71 cents. I'm gonna skip the oil right now because I'm not doing anything with oil. And then for electric, the same thing. I'm gonna put 14 cents in. By same thing, I mean, that's how I figure mine out. I take my total electric bill and divide it out by my total kWh usage to figure out what I'm paying. It's about 14 to 14 and a half cents last year. It does allow for different summer and winter rates. Where I'm at, it's all the same, but some people do have different rates depending on the season. So you gotta put that stuff in there. Now your load calc information, you gotta get that elsewhere. This software just compares costs, operating costs. What you don't wanna do on an existing home is put in whatever size furnace and AC they have now, because chances are very, very high that the equipment is oversized. So putting that in is gonna give you a really false representation of the cost. And if you do that, you'll see when you get the cost output later that it does not match the customer's bill at all. So you can actually even do a kind of a crude load calc by backing this outward to get to the cost that they're actually paying. And then you kind of could see it that way. All right, on the right-hand side, you pick your equipment. You get up to 4 columns, a base system, and then investment 1, 2, and 3. So the base system for an existing home would be whatever they own today, and then how much am I gonna save with these other investments? On new construction, then it would be whatever the code minimum legal thing is. So in our case, for the base system, we'll hit the drop down here. You can pick AC only, gas furnace only, AC with electric heat, et cetera, heat pump splits, hybrid heat systems. We're gonna pick an AC with gas furnace right now as a pretty standard operating system. Then I'm gonna pick my outdoor equipment. I could pick it from the drop down of Bryant model numbers if I already have a Bryant unit. On an existing system, they may not have a Bryant unit or they won't have a current one. Or all the way at the bottom, I can pick regular old efficiencies type stuff. So let's say they have a 10 SEER unit, because nowadays the stuff you're replacing is probably 10 SEER stuff. And then I'll pick my indoor unit. Once again, I could pick any one of these Bryant, in this case, furnace model numbers that are current, or I could scroll down to the very bottom and pick something generic. They probably have an 80% furnace in their house. So I'd pick that. And that would give me the operating cost. So the way that would look for that system, I picked the 10 SEER 80% generic system. I'm spending $450 on cooling the house, $1,000 on heating the house. Or you can look at it based on the utility costs, the electric, which is the fan blower for heating and cooling, as well as the condensing unit, as $567, or the fuel cost, which is the gas cost, $933, and then my total cost. That's pretty straightforward. Now, when you look at this, if this doesn't line up with what they're paying on their utility bills, that probably means you've overestimated the load over here, and you probably have actually a smaller load. All right, then I look at my investments. What am I gonna offer them as a replacement for this now deceased or soon to be deceased system? I can offer them another AC and gas system. What do I wanna offer them? Right, so I can scroll down the list and see what different model numbers I might wanna use, right? So just depending on what I wanted to pick on here. So let's just say, what I wanna pick. Let's pick something kind of middle of the roadish. So let's pick a 14 SEER system. And then I can pick my furnace, and let's pick some basic 96% efficient furnace. Right, so this is gonna show me down here, by doing that upgrade, going from 10 to 14 SEER, from 80 to 95 or 96%, what do I have, 95%? For this load system, I'm gonna save $340 a year. And I can look and see the individual breakdowns as well. By the way, I didn't mention it, but there's these check boxes for heating and cooling on here. That's if they run continuous fan. And if you see if I do that, it does change the operating costs. Then I can offer them additional options on here. So let's say I also want to offer them an AC and gas furnace that's got a pretty top of the line system. So let's say I'm going to pick a 189, let's do the 186 CNV. And I'll put that with a 987 got a 986 Infinity. Where's my 987? Hang on a second. Let's pick a BNV. Sorry about that. And then I'll put it with a 987. So I got a 189 BNV with a 987 MB. So for you guys on the carrier side, that would be the equivalent 5-stage unit with modulating gas furnace. In this particular configuration, it's 18 SEER, 97% efficient. It's gonna save me $445 a year. Right? And then I can pick more investments beyond that. Or I can compare something else. I could say, you know what if I gave them a hybrid heat gas split system? And let's say I get the equivalent heat pump. So I'll get a 288 BNV, and I'll put it with modulating gas furnace. In this case, I'm actually gonna not save any money because the heat pump for this low of a gas cost doesn't make any sense. But if my gas cost was higher, like it was back in 2008 or 2009, then all of a sudden the math starts changing. Now the heat pump does save energy. Or if my electric cost is lower, like it was 10, 12 years ago. Actually, this is my exact scenario in 2008. I was paying 10 cents and $1.08 for gas. So back then, a hybrid heat system would have made sense for that scenario. Right now, it doesn't. For a natural gas system in the NICOR territory. If you pay more for gas, it can make sense. Or if you got propane, it can make sense. And you can do those kind of examples. You can compare someone, let's say they have an AC with electric resistance heat. I can put that on here. Let's get rid of these other ones. So in that case, what if I said they got AC with electric heat, but I want to offer them a heat pump split system instead with electric backup? So I'll go to something like, I'll pick something less efficient for now. Actually, I don't know heat pumps as well. Let's pick 14 SEER 2-stage. I'll put it with a pretty decent fan coil. So in that case, $1,900 savings. I went from a 10 SEER to a 15 SEER, but I went from electric heat to a heat pump. That's the big savings here. So on the heating side, it's a pretty big difference. My electric cost is going down because of the heating. $3,100 a year down to $1,300 a year. Right, and actually it's even more because I got to put the correct electric rate back in. The dollar amounts will be even bigger actually. $2,700 to upgrade somebody from a 10 SEER with electric heat to a heat pump system. If they got electric heat, a heat pump's a no-brainer. And you can do any kinds of combinations like that that you want to pick between any of these things, and it'll compare one to the other. There's a lot of flexibility there. Hopefully that helps you out, get you kind of a kickstart on how to use this tool, and hopefully you're able to help customers compare and contrast different options. Thank you for your time.